what I think the future may be like and why I think there can be some worries about the future. Now, I know that the future may have some difficulties with who we're electing and, you know, who we're making run for president and all that, but like what I'm really here to talk about is what I think the future may be like. Now, whether you are, you know, in Donald Trump's case, a Mexican, or unlike me, a Canadian, you really can't see the sides between who's right and who's wrong. Like, who we have right now in on side standard notes, like right now we have Bernie Sanders, and also we have Hillary Clinton. Now, I'm not saying that Hillary's bad in any way, but what I'm really trying to say is she's just, in my opinion, not fit for this. I mean, we've had like Barack Obama, and let me add you this: Barack Obama did not, you know, yes, he was the first black president, but he was an actual president we needed. Like, he was a president, like, you know, who actually served his purpose and everything else. Everybody just started up this rumor saying, oh, our first black president and all that. Barack Obama didn't like make, like, he didn't go up and just say, ooh, look, I'm a black president. No, he didn't. In his election, he actually used his good-full words and terms that he said he would use as a president, and guess what he got voted for? As every other president did. But Hillary Clinton herself just said the reason why I should be voted for president is because I am basically a woman. Now, keep this in mind, though, that you may think just because Hillary wants to be president because she's a woman is severely stupid. She's disgusting. That's what my mom thinks. I mean, I talked to my mom, I talked to my brothers, and I talked to a lot of people. Hillary is really hated, and I gotta admit, I can see why. I mean, her husband, for God's sakes, not to sound, you know, in any term, just to take this, but got his, pardon my French, his dick sucked by Monica Lewinsky. And she didn't give a flying fuck about that. And I don't see this.
Is there anybody here to goddamn?
And may I just remind this dude, I mean, this is the fucking America, dude. I watched a lot of videos lately about this. And now you may think, so what is this small time, tiny, like, parasite of a, you know, I should not parasite of a YouTuber like me talking about this? Well, nobody's gonna care, by the way, except for one person, and Adam, I can honestly tell that's you, but who really only listens to my videos, really, most of the time. But what I'm trying to say is, look, I'm only 15-year-old, and you may think, like, oh well, like, I can't, you know, say shit or anything about what I think the future may be. No, I can talk a lot of shit about the future. I'm not ongoing full American, so let you know this. When I was, let's just say this, my family tree isn't full American. I have mainly my mom's blood, but I have my dad's looks. Let's just say this. And so, I mainly live by my mother's side. So that you know, yes, I am definitely right now at the stage where I have 4 more years, technically 3 originally, and I move out of my house, like of this house, after I go to college and all that. I mean, it's just the fact that things can happen so quickly. Like, when I was 2, I'm gonna tell you this, I could pick up 2 milk jugs in each hand and already walk. Be in mind, that's crazy. So I'm a pretty strong fellow. I mean, Adam in the comments, if he ever will even tell you that I'm a pretty big fucking dude with natural born strength. And all I can say is this, I'm probably wasting my time sitting on my ass than I am like literally focusing on my future right now. At a 15-year-old, you know, saying this, it sounds stupid. Because really what I'm saying is more adult than it is kiddish. Let's just say this. I mean, I've had some people who talk shit about me. I've had everything. I mean, I've had a brother who's died. I've had a grandma, a heavenly angel in my life I lost that I looked up to. And you may think like, well, I had like my grandmother, you may think my great-grandmother, you may think, ooh, you know, well, Caden, it happens, you know, you lose somebody every day. I mean, especially elderly, you know, side of the family. And I say, yeah, but understand this, though. My grandmother lost all her, children except for my grandma Matthew. I'm talking my grandma Goldie, my great-grandma Goldie. And she lost her husband, which she was married to twice. One, I think, died from a fire, and understand, he was my words are not really coming out right. He was resurrected 5 times by shock paddles on you know, on his deathbed. So to let you know, that was, when I heard that, that was extremely sad. And he died. I don't know how he died, but even though that's sad, though, that I don't remember, I just don't like to remember. Either I don't remember is because I don't like to think about it most of the time, so really I don't care for it. All I just care is that the fact he was a good man, and I liked him. I don't fear death. I'll say this, and I don't fear death. You may think, ooh, the only reason why I would only fear it is because if I died, my mom would be extremely devastated, and so would my brothers. And I don't want that to happen. What if they could take their lives because of it? They may say I wouldn't do it, and my mom told me like I wouldn't do it, and I'm sorry, but I just have to live to God's full term, and you know what? I can see why that though. But most parents say that, and guess what happens? They take their own lives knowing their kids died. I would too, I admit it, and I could say that to my child all I want, but I would commit suicide. Now you may think, well, why am I on this topic? Even though this is about the future, just wait until this happens. I'm just saying, it'll catch on. I understand though, and let me get back to my part though. As out of all that, she lost 2 husbands. She lost all her kids except for my grandma Matthew, which, you know what I mean, is her daughter. So, except for her daughter. His first husband, which is, I think, I can't remember, but which had been my real great-grandfather, died in a coal mine. My step-grandfather, which I should aka my unblood related father, no, grandfather. Grandpa, I'm sorry I'm messing up, but I'm just in the middle of a game and, you know, I can't talk about this at the same time while doing this. So what I'm really trying to say is that in this spare time, though, she lost everyone. None of her friends were alive. They all died. And she lost everything. She had 5 cases of diseases. I can't tell which. She had a fallopian tube, which means she had to get fed through a bag on her side and a tube, and her right side of her face. I should say not face, but her right side of her, you know, brain, and her eye went down to the system and made her blind. And I know I sound stupid, but please just try to get what I'm trying to say is that angel I lost, she never cussed once in her life, never did drugs, and never swore. Nothing. Not even smoked. And stayed a happy woman and lost everything.
Dispatch, we got eyes on the target, moving to engage.
And I bet she smiled when she died. Knowing that the fact it was all over. That she didn't have to suffer anymore. Knowing when I lost her, knowing I first lost her, when I came over to her house, I saw Grandma Matthew there, and when I looked over and when I went to the room, I saw my Grandma Goldie, my great Grandma Goldie, and it was sad to see because that was an angel wrestling to fight death itself. For those last 3 days, I may think she lasted. She fought that. And man, I said when I got in there, I was devastated. I was horrified. First time I've ever been scared in my life, fundamentally. That was my weakness. Her. I couldn't take to see that angel to be injured like that. She was in that bed, dying, fighting it. And I went to the car and I cried. On the fact I loved my Grandma Goldie. She held me when I was a baby. She held me even, I bet, when I was even after fucking birth. I mean, it's not hard to see, really. I mean, she was the best thing that ever happened in my life, because my Grandma Goldie she was so kind, she was so generous, she was so nice, she was so sweet. My Grandma Goldie was the one permanent figure of my life.
You wanna party, huh?
Doesn't represent me, but just represents if our family was all comparative light, she represented it. When my dad said when we were at her funeral, Grandma Matthew was crying and I couldn't take the bear to see it. I didn't cry, but anyways. And that was so sad, and you know what happened? She remembered, but when we were in the exact same day before we left, when we saw her, I turned back when my mom left the room and turned the lights off in the room. I looked back at Grandma Goldie and I promised her, in those eyes, in that angel's eyes, I said, I promise I won't fail. I promise with my soul to keep that I would not fail you. And I left the room. And my, oh shoot, I got killed. And what, happened was, is I went back. Only after that happened, and my brothers went inside the room to go check on Grandma, and a miracle happened. He came out. My oldest brother Zach came out the room.
Come on, punish me.
And said she remembered me, and he was crying at the same time. because he was 25 years old, and he is 25 years old, and he hasn't seen Grandma Goldie in a whole 15 years. And guess what happens? She remembers him. My Grandma Goldie remembers Zach after 15 years. And I thought that was a miracle. But she didn't remember me out of all of my brothers and I. She remembered my mom, my dad, everyone else but me. When I think about to this day is that she didn't remember me after death. And I kind of stay depressed with that fact.
William 2, copy that. We're in the vicinity.
And after when I got back, from all that, yeah, we were at the funeral. My dad said, I remembered that woman. And he was crying. We were all hugging my dad. That's what he said, straight to our faces. Grandma Matthew was in the middle of us while we were hugging. The reason why I'm talking about this, and you may think this doesn't relate anything to the future, is I'm gonna continue on about this, but just still hear it until the end. Just please, if you have the time. Is when I got back, my girlfriend Heaven, that I know, broke up with me, but she lied to me. She said, Kaden, my mom told you to break up with me, and set it up. In my face. And she said it with no remorse. And she just left like nothing. She didn't even at least drink, she didn't at least even show any effects of it. She didn't show any effects. And after I lost the best angel in my life, she left. After I lost that incredible angel of my life and that miracle that didn't even remember me after death, after that whole sad ass funeral that I had of someone extremely important, I lose the girl that I love. And she didn't even fucking care. She just left me out in the fucking road like a fucking orphan. It felt like I just got shot in the heart. Knowing the fact that the girl who I liked this whole time, for a whole fucking 3 months, just dropped me. Like that. Just dropped me like a bag of fucking rocks. And I come back and guess what happened? I failed the third quarter. I failed it. I still had to go to summer school, and I broke that promise to my grandma to let you know, the angel of my life. I broke that promise to. Right on the verge of death. The woman who lost everything in her life and still stayed happy to God. I broke a promise to. I went through all that suffering, and guess what I did? I broke her promise. Because I told you. I'm worthless. I'm trash.
There you go.
I mean, for fuck's sake, dude, I'm playing a game that has to deal with killing fucking people while talking about this. I understand, and I'm the one talking about the fucking future. But as I grew older, and I understand this, now I'm gonna get back to the future part, what I think may happen in the future. Now, what I'm saying is, so you all can tell because I've lost a brother, by the way, at birth, when I was only 7. And he was also one of my real-blooded brothers at birth, and I lost him. Because I thought how my brothers Zach and Josh got along. And I thought I wanted a mini-me, kind of like myself. Guess what happened? He died at birth. And my mom said, no, well, understand, when I was 7, like, I didn't understand what death meant. And until I grew older, until I turned about 8 or 9, I recognized what death fully got experienced too. Then I know that he died. So I can tell you right now, I have had an extremely hard life. I'll tell you that when it comes to death. When facing it, I've had it, and when coming to it, I've had it. You can already tell by that. So now, what I think in the future though, is the fact is, there is, for the future,
Thanks for stopping by.
what I may think of the future is that, now, you have Hillary and you have Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders is a guy who wants to raise taxes so far up. He wants too much of everybody's money. He wants to take everybody, he wants to use the money and all that, and use it so he can raise taxes and all that so he can give money to the poor. You know why the poor are poor? Because they don't have money. Because they don't get a job. How is that our fault? So you want to take our money for people who are sitting around on their asses all day? Have disabilities and all that? I'm not saying, like, I know it sounds wrong, but be serious. If my mother, I'm just saying, was almost on the urge of death, what money would I have if it came to Bernie Sanders and all that? I wouldn't have the money and all that, because guess what? You know what I went to? The poor. Just so he can raise taxes for the poor. Just so he could give money to them, even though it's their fault that they're out on the street themselves because they don't have a job? Really? And Hillary, she wants to become president because she's a woman. Because she's a woman. So she has all her smart, you know, ways and all that and everything else. I've seen Hillary Clinton before, to tell you this, that I haven't seen her in person. I've seen a lot of documents on her, like, on her and all that. She's a very dependent woman and smart, but to be president, I don't think so. Dude, you know, it sounds stupid, but I hate Bernie with, like, Sanders, like, with all my, but I'd rather just vote for him with this poor shit rather than Hillary. It's either I'd rather have, you know what, no, not even Bernie Sanders. No, I couldn't even actually, no, fuck it. I couldn't even have a discussion about that. And Donald Trump, the last discussion about our future. I don't know. Yes, he's kind of right. The immigration and all that to Mexicans, but, dude, I have a friend that's Mexican, okay? When I kind of hear that, I kind of think, oh, okay, you're just being stereotypical. No, I have a friend named Kevin that's fucking Mexican. And I imagine that shit's hard for him, dude. I mean, I bet when he fucking heard that, I mean, imagine. I just don't want to say, oh, fucking immigrant. No, dude. So what? My mom's a Canadian, and that makes me mostly partially Canadian and all that. As I already told you. So that means that's also possibly going to go against me because I'm in a completely different country. But he's just doing it against Mexicans. Not just immigrants, but Mexicans. The racist bastard. Anything, I'm sorry. But people are right, though. When they said, oh, these are the best people and all that, we're doing our very best. No! Oh my god, I'm 15 years old and I bet I could choose way better people than that, dude. Holy shit, I'm dumb as hell. And most of the shit that I do sometimes is way more smarter than what they do themselves in their presidents. I bet I could have a better picking. Like, I bet I can pick out way better people to run for president than they can themselves. I'm not saying that truly, no, but I'm just saying, as like, you know where I'm getting at. Really? A guy who's against Mexicans, a woman who wants to run for president just because she's a woman, and a guy who wants to raise taxes and give them to the poor. Something a child would think. Something a child would say. In their damn essay or something like that. And guess what he is? A full-grown man. For God's sakes, I would have said that. I would have said, I would have wanted to raise taxes for the homeless and all that. That's just because I said that when I was like 9 or 8. I understand why they're poor now. That's just something a kid would do. Like a 7 or 8 year old would say. Not a full-grown man who has his traits and all that figured out already. Delete all the negative shit on my wall. My mom told me about, my even old mother told me about this, and I had to go actually look it up. And she was right. Dude, you gotta expect negative shit sometimes. May I add, because there's a baby in my house. There's negative things that you need to fight every day. I'm one of those, I almost fight a lot of negative things every day. Every day. Let me tell you this. I get called every insult in the book every day. Even if they don't know the meaning of it, they still call me it. I get insulted every day. And I have to fight it. Oh, so you're, oh, boo-hoo, why could, so I get one negative comment, and I want everything positive. No, dude! If you're a God believer, you know this. No one is perfect. So if no one is perfect, he even said himself, once upon a time, then you're obviously going to get insulted. Because if you were perfect, you wouldn't get insulted, now would you? No! You wouldn't. Guess what, you're not? Perfect. The only perfect person I've ever met in my life, as I already told you. Why? But anyways, is my grandma Goldie. That's the only person who I found next to Jesus. Like, no joke. That's it. Because she stayed happy even though she was injured every day. She was on the verge of death. She was still happy. That's someone who I think. That's someone that is next to Jesus with a passion compared to any fucker that I've seen to this day. I'm sorry to put it out there, but our future may be doomed. And I get that. Like, dude, I mean, I saw these videos of it, and boy, are they true. I'm gonna end the video here, but what I'm really trying to tell you is the future is not fully at stake, but I don't know what I don't know what it's done to us, though. For fuck's sake. Whatever the human race has fucking become, I don't know. Whatever we're gonna become, I couldn't tell you. You guys just have to fucking wait it out. I'm sorry to point this to you, but we're most likely done for. Possibly. Possibly. Not saying we are, but most likely. Anyways, guys, that was my extremely long video. And may I add to you that if it bothers you for me to say this, then I'll tell you, then you gotta live with it sometimes. It just happens. Anyways, guys, all I just hope is, please, just at least live as long as you can. Don't do anything stupid to get you killed. Just, I'm not trying to sound like your mother or your father, just saying, you know, don't get killed in a sarcastic way. I'm just saying, please don't, seriously, because all of you are extremely important in your own ways, and you all have everything to live for. And you guys have a bunch of gifts that you don't know inside you. You find it at some point, even when you're dead. It will show. Just please, just please keep yourselves safe. Anyways, this is Lost Animatronic, and you can subscribe to my channel. I don't have very many, which you guys probably won't, because really I'm not big on YouTube. But anyways, love you guys. Bye bye.